What's up, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the firewall, where we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall, to those C-suite and senior level positions. My name is Ryan Williams, and today, as always, I'm joined by Shannon Times
What up? What up?
and Levon Maynard.
What's going on? How are you?
Yes, sir. So this week's been action packed. There's more content coming where we're going to discuss some other things, but this is a callback. So before we get into the Snyder Cut and all that good stuff, we last week, I believe, we discussed parenting and the interwebs and how to protect your kids, and we gave you some tips and whatnot. So it seems as though Instagram, I believe Instagram's owned by Facebook, so it seems as though Zuckerberg heard our cries to fix the situation. He probably didn't. It's probably already been in the works for years now. But Instagram has made some changes. So with that being said, I'll go right into the article. So this is a Verge, theverge.com article. Instagram will no longer let adults message teens who don't follow them. So, duh. But I'm glad that they implemented it because, as we know, growing up, you don't use your brain is not fully developed. So for whatever reason, you thought it was cool to talk to strangers, or strangers thought it was cool to talk to you. It's not. Like don't talk to them. But Instagram has taken another step, and they've basically made it by default. If you're not following that adult, because there's an age verification, right? So you have to be truthful with your age. And they also have a way around that as well to try to help kids not be susceptible to adults, right? So in case they lie about their age. But by default, if you said, hey, I am 13, 14, whatever, and then me, a grown man who's almost in his 40s, not that old yet though, one of us is, but it's not me. It will not allow me to contact said child unless that child is following me. So there has to be a mutual connection made there. So can they circumvent it by just following the adult? Yes. Hopefully they're not following strangers or somebody else who may be not have the best in mind when sending pictures and sending texts and things of that nature with a minor. However, they've also integrated AI, which AI is a little terrifying, but in this case is being used to help with age verification. So if your teenager or your child decides to lie about their age and go to, the 1901, like most of us do when we don't feel like being bothered when we set up our ages, or we want to, because I don't like for social media to know how old I am, even though it probably does already. In this case, what it will do is, I think like they haven't really discussed what the algorithm is doing it behind the scenes, but somehow it's looking at your analytics or maybe your search history. I'm not exactly sure, or maybe there's some database that knows your kid's general age, and then it trips where it's like, hey, listen, this person who is much older than this child should not be talking to them. So, can your kid defeat it? Yes. However, it looks as though Instagram or Facebook is taking those steps. So how do you guys feel about this?
Yeah, at least they're taking some steps to, try to combat this as dependent, no matter whether there's like a circumvention mechanism for the kids. I mean, I assume that I don't know. I guess as an adult trying to message kids, you'd probably follow them anyway, or like I don't know. You'd have to like establish a sort of like relationship instead of just messaging out the blue, I suppose. Nobody really wants to. I mean, most people, but kids, kids are impressionable, so they may just start talking to somebody randomly that's on the internet that sends a message to them. But you would think that they would want to have like a, you know, connect with them on their Instagram and like start liking their pictures, and then slowly start getting, getting like a rapport going on there, I guess. At least like so that they kind of see that, oh, this person keeps liking. It's like the only person that likes my pictures. Wow. And then all of a sudden they start messaging them out at the blue. So it's obviously concerning. If I had a child, that was getting messaged by some random Instagrammer, uh, it would be concerning. At least they're trying to do something to prevent it at the very least. Um, I can't think of much else to really say about it. I think it's just it's a good policy. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything more they can do. I mean, it's a social form. I mean, I think it may be dependent on the parent themselves to kind of monitor their child's activities, make sure that they're whether or not they even have an Instagram account in the first place, and make sure that they are able to like prevent them from socializing with people that they shouldn't be socializing with, and kind of maybe monitoring their account. If maybe the parent should have a password to the account too, so they can log in periodically and just look and see how things are going. Um, maybe that'd be another method that people can make their own kind of security against this kind of incident. But it seems like they're doing what they can. Facebook or whatever's doing whatever they can to help prevent it, and we'll see what comes from it. But you guys, Shannon, you have any thoughts on it as well?
So I do. I'd be interested to see what the age verifying process would be, right? Because how do you do that, right? Because right now it's very much just give you a birth date, right? If you can do simple math, you can bypass that, right? Okay, I'm 16, 18, 21, whatever you need to be. So how do you actually verify this? Like it how intrusive are they going to have to be? Are they going to have to ask personal questions, take a picture, right? Which you don't want out there because of deep fakes, right? So you don't want them to do that. You don't want them to do that, right? But this is dangerous for a couple different reasons. So it could be one of those things where you may have a child, like you said, Ryan. They don't have a fully developed brain. They don't have the experiences, right? Life experiences. They could possibly be academically smart, but not street smart, right? They don't know what they're getting themselves into. So you could have a child uh, that they may be talking to someone, that says, hey, they're another, let's say 15-year-old child, 14, 13-year-old child, right? And these people make friends through these social media platforms, right? So they develop a friendship, they say some stuff, that may be a little personal or whatever, that may be family business that you don't want out there. What can happen is this person, being an adult or whatever, could use it as blackmail to say, okay, well, I'll let you know now, you told me all this stuff. And if you don't send me nude pictures or whatever, I'm gonna let your family know, about the stuff you've been talking about that you've been putting out in the street or whatever, right? It could be used that way, right? Then you got to get law enforcement involved and things like this to try to track it down or whatever. It's dangerous. It is dangerous out there. So the verification portion of it, when I read the article, I was like, how do they do this, right? Because I don't know if you guys have seen To Catch a Predator, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whatever it was. So
Mhm.
like the person on the other end was always pretending like they were a young child that was like a 23-year-old police officer or whatever that was doing it, but it didn't take much to get in there and do it. That verification is the big sticking point for me. And when you look at the screenshot, they have a screenshot in the article that they give as a warning to the minor, right? And I like the way they set it up because they didn't just make it like a quick little pop up, because you know what we do for those, right? It's like when we see EULAs, we scroll down, hit the agree, whatever, right? But this gives you some options that makes them have to think a little bit more, and they may have to read a little bit more before they tap one of those options, right? So I do like that aspect of it, not just making it a pop up, that you're supposed to read everything here and whatnot. I'm not reading 33 paragraphs of a EULA, you know what I mean? That's just not going to happen. Let me
Mhm.
where do I check the box and hit agree? But no, it's good that they're doing something about this now. Whether or not they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart, I don't know. Whether or not they've had lawsuits come against them for stuff like this, I don't know, right? But neither here nor there. I don't care how we got to this point. I'm just glad it's being done, right? So that's what matters. That's my take on it.
Yeah, exactly. And I like you brought up that, yes, so part of the notification process, because it's going to remind them like, hey, listen, highlighting the benefits of private account and reminding them to check their settings. So again, parents should also be doing this. So if your kid is on social media platform, I'm sorry, in my opinion, if you feel okay with them having a Twitter or a Facebook or Instagram or a TikTok, you also need to create an account. So now you're on there as well, just so you can monitor what your kids are doing. They're going to be your friend now. Like that's the part that I think still needs to be done. Like I think that is, it's nothing's 100% safe. If your kids really want to do, be kids and basically go behind your back, there's only so much you could do without always checking up on them, which you should be doing anyway. But kids will be kids. But if you have that mutual trust, is what I'm hoping. Like, hopefully, it doesn't age bad. And then next episode, I'm like, my kids have fake accounts, but because I would share that, I'd be like, hey, listen, they got me, and that's how they got me. So security tip, do this. But I think it's that mutual trust. Like, okay, I'm going to allow you to have this account that's age appropriate, but you are now my friend, and I will need to check your settings from time to time to make sure that you're not, doing something you shouldn't be doing, that people aren't sending you DMs and things of that nature. The AI part of it is a little creepy. Um, I kind of like it because it just helps reinforce something to do with kids. But again, slippery slope, right? So now you're being monitored by multiple systems. So we just have to be a little cautious. Like how does it do it? Like I don't know. Like if it was me and I was setting up, I would ask you a simple question: Who had the better filmography, Eddie Murphy or Kevin Hart? And depending on your answer, I know how old you are. I don't have to worry about it. Like done deal. All right. You said Kevin Hart, restrict all your accounts.
You sound like you had these debates before
Right.
with people.
You're obviously not in your 30s if you think Kevin Hart had a better filmography than Eddie Murphy. So with that being said, I'm restricting all your accounts. I'm deleting your accounts. They're deactivated now.
Right.
you can't be trusted.
You're done.
But all joking aside, I think it is. I think it is a good idea, especially with the notifications to tell them like, hey, maybe you should make this a private account, so only you and your friends can have it, and then hopefully one of your friends is your parent, guardian, or whomever is your caretaker, just to check up on you, to make sure your settings are good, make sure you're not interacting with people you shouldn't, because you just don't know who's on the other side of the screen. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and land this plane. Uh, I think this was a great conversation. I do want to have more of these in the future. Like I like how this one is a callback to something we talked about. I honestly do want to have more segments like this for parents because we just don't know. Like I learn about new stuff all the time, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't even know that was a thing. So I like to share it with others. Um, but again, I thought this was a great conversation. Please, 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 if you have not already, uh, subscribe to the Patreon, become a Patreon patron, so you get this 7 days early, completely ad free. If you're not a patron just yet and you still listen to us on the YouTubes, please like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment. Engagement is key, right? Like the more engagement we get, the more we know how to curtail the show and get you what you're looking for. As well as if you're listening to us on audio, please continue to subscribe to our podcast. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe so you can get this content when it hits. With that being said, go to our website, The Other Side of the Firewall, where you can get to our Twitter, our IG, our Instagram, our Facebook group. You can reach me on what's the TikTok? Yeah, it's new. So I got a TikTok now. So you can reach me on TikTok, uh, LinkedIn, and Clubhouse at RY Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. And Levon?
You hit me up at Levon Mater on the Twitters.
There you go. So make sure you stay tuned for all this good content, people. So I appreciate your time. Y'all be easy.
Take care, everyone.